Hi, everyone. I hope you all are keeping well and staying healthy and all of that good stuff. I just wanted to make a really quick video to come on here and kind of break things down. I know we're going through quite a difficult transition. The entire campus has been really trying to move everything online just because we can't be physically together. And so our learning is going to also have to take place online. So are our exams and quizzes and studying, right? So I wanted to talk a little bit about a few logistics about how we will conduct the course going forward, and then open it up. If you have any questions, you can certainly email me. I'll talk a little bit about office hours and then some tips that'll be really helpful as we make this transition. So first off, everything will be online. Okay, so our lectures will be online. Our class will meet at our usual meeting time. Now, because I'm doing this for both A&P 1 and 2, if you're in A&P 1, so that'll be 9:15. If you're in A&P 2, that'll be 11:45. And I will send out the Zoom links for those live meetings, usually by the night before. So our Monday, Wednesday, Friday meetings, I'll send those links out by the evening prior. I know some of you may not have steady internet access or may not be able to tune in live. And so the recordings will also be available the way I usually do them. I'll try to cut them up into bite-sized pieces so that you can watch them on the replay if you happen to miss a lecture or lose internet connection during the course of the lecture. As far as exams and quizzes, those will also continue to be online. Quizzes will not be affected, right? You'll do those on your own. Exams will be a little bit different. As far as what we're discussing right now, we're going to try to incorporate Respondus browser monitoring. So basically, a more engaged form of Respondus where you're being videoed, and we're going to try to set that up. But in the event that we do not get that set up before our first exam, which should be exam 3, we will conduct exams using our typical Respondus. So Respondus, the way it's being used now, which is just having you log in through the software, just like you've been doing, but you'll be able to do that at home. Mastering A&P assignments will probably be moved according to new due dates. So stay tuned for a revised syllabus. That is not ready yet. We're still kind of trying to figure out what content can be removed and making some fine-tuned changes there. So there will be a revised syllabus that should be available by Monday, and that'll have the new Mastering A&P due dates as well as the new exam dates as well. Other important things are probably labs. I know I've gotten a lot of questions and emails about labs. Again, everything will be online. As far as labs, just because there are so many different sections and so many different meeting times, we will probably not do, we will likely not do live labs. In fact, we will post recordings. So there will be a lecture recording of the lab content using images and models as best we can. And then the lab quizzes will be available online as well. So there will be quizzes conducted in Blackboard, just like your typical weekly lecture quiz. We'll try to stagger those lab videos and quizzes. So basically, what we're at now is quiz 3, so the quiz for heart, and then lab 4, so the lab for abdomen. And so those are the first 2 pieces of content that we'll release on Blackboard so that those of you who haven't done quiz 3 or haven't had lab 4 can get caught up. And that'll be available on Monday, so stay tuned for that. And then we'll stagger the quizzes going forward. So we'll give you 2 weeks to conduct your quiz the way you would typically have it right after that content. So after you've looked at lab 4 material, that quiz will be available for the next 2 weeks. And then the material going forward, which luckily is only 1 more lab, week 5, will be available for 2 weeks beyond that, okay? And this will kind of make more sense as we start sending out more emails and we start actually trying to roll this out in real time. I also want to touch on office hours. So I will make a Zoom link available for my traditional office hours. And you can definitely Zoom into office hours that I hold collectively then at that time. You can also set up separate Zoom meetings, or you can email me as usual. I'm usually very accessible, very easy to get a hold of via email. If you have questions, if you have concerns, you can certainly do that. I will also be checking the chat. So during our live lectures, there is a chat feature on Zoom, and I will be checking that at regular periods throughout the lecture, just in case you do have questions. And that's kind of why we're keeping with doing live lectures, so that there's more of that actual class feel where you can interact, you can stop me, ask questions. So definitely feel free to interact during the live lectures as well. I also wanted to touch briefly on, let's see, I have some notes here. Grading. So grading shouldn't be affected too much based upon the material that we move or remove. That may affect how many points we have for exam 4 and possibly for the cumulative. So stay tuned for that. We're still trying to work that out based upon how much content we can reasonably cover with the changes and with the time that we have left for the rest of the semester. So stay tuned for how grading may or may not be affected. Just bear in mind that we're going to be fair, we're going to be equitable. If we did not cover content or if we did not cover it in sufficient detail, we will adjust the level of difficulty of questions or the level of questions or number of questions that are that we're testing you on. So don't get nervous. We're not trying to force material on you that we know you cannot study in this amount of time, and we are being mindful of the shift in the learning environment and the shift in the time and the amount of content that we have. Lastly, I just want to mention a few tips that may help you all be successful. I know this is a trying time with this global health crisis. Everyone's lives has essentially been disrupted. And so I know although you are available to like tune in to these classes and exams and quizzes virtually, I know that there may be challenges posed to some of you. Please feel free to reach out to me. Important things that you should be taking into consideration as you transition your learning to a mostly an online format is setting up a space in your home or wherever you are to allocate that space for studying, for quiet time. If you're with a group of other students, you may or may not have that luxury of studying in an environment where there are other students. Some of you may be studying in a house full of families. So definitely designate a space in your home where you can go and study. Also designate a time. Again, you may have a lot of people in your house, or maybe not, or you may have noise or distractions. Definitely designate a time that works for you. That may be early in the morning, or that may be late at night, whatever it is. This is a good time to really customize your learning to you. A lot of times we're just sitting in this large lecture format with this one-size-fits-all approach. This is how you can sort of capitalize on this learning, online learning, and make it custom to you. So set aside a designated time, a designated space to be able to interact and engage, and then be able to learn better. All right, lastly, I just want to encourage you all to stay safe, stay healthy, stay well, stay positive in your mindset and in your mind frame. This is a trying time physically, but also mentally, right?